Welcome to the virtual college fair for all Alaska students. Thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at strivescan.com/Alaska. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website that you registered. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. You are on the Undecided Journey. You are here for the presentation on the Undecided Journey. This is going to be an open dialogue, kind of a Q&A. We're going to present a few things, some popular questions, biggest questions for the undeclared or undecided student as they are entering into the college search. And just for point of reference, and to maybe ease things into a little comfort zone there, you are not alone. Many folks are on that undecided journey. And in fact, many folks, i.e. myself, were on that undecided journey even after enrolling in college. So sometimes students change their majors too. So we're gonna cover it all as much as we can within the amount of time that we have, and we're very glad you're here joining us. We'll do a quick introduction of ourselves, our names, our titles, and where we're from or located, and then we'll turn it over to Emily to start us into the questions. So my name is Ethan Aronson. I'm with the College of St. Benedict St. John's University in central Minnesota.
And my name is Sarah Buswell. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at Washington State University, and I'm located in the Seattle area in Washington.
I'll go next. Aloha, my name is Susie Prenovo. I am an Associate Director of Admissions for Hawaii Pacific University, but I am also regionally based in the Seattle area, so welcome.
My name is Ana Gagne-Haz, and I am the Acting Director of Admissions at the University of Alaska Fairbanks in Fairbanks, Alaska. Emily, I kick it over to you.
Hi, my name is Emily Ferguson-Stager. I'm the Director of Admissions at the University of Montana in Missoula, Montana. And I'm going to kick it off today by answering question number 1. When should I know what I want to major in? And the answer is, it depends. For a quick review, a major is a specific subject area that you will specialize in when you're in college. Typically, for a bachelor's degree, between 1/3 and 1/2 of the courses that you will take in college will be related to your major or in progression of a degree. For students choosing a 1, 2, or 3-year associate's degree program, nearly all of your coursework will be in or related to your major. Generally, for most bachelor's programs, you do not have to decide on a major until the end of your sophomore year. This gives you time to try a couple different classes in areas that intrigue you to see what you like before declaring your major. These courses that you take prior to declaring a major will work towards graduation and are typically called general education courses or exploratory major courses. For those that are interested in associate programs, you will choose a degree generally at the start of your program, such as heavy equipment or culinary, or maybe even cybersecurity. General Associates of Arts and Associates of Science degrees are typically designed for students wishing to transfer into 4 and more year degrees. A great follow-up question is, what is the process for declaring a major? And I really took a deep dive on that one, and I think it's asking yourself a number of different questions. What do you like? First, think and consider when picking your majors what you actually enjoy doing. I love to use the example that when I started college, I actually wanted to be an anthropologist because I'm older than most of you, and I was intrigued by Indiana Jones, and I really wanted to find lost civilizations in the middle of the forest, and realized in my coursework that most anthropologists work in the basement of buildings, cataloging other people's finds, and this does not work alone in a basement. And so I have a minor in anthropology, but actually got a major in a field that had much more forward-facing or public speaking. Another suggestion that I have is making a list of 10 things that you enjoy doing. This will help you determine fields of study that you might fit well, or perhaps not fit it well or fit at all. The other side is to consider your weaknesses and strengths. If you love public speaking and getting in front of audiences, a job in the forward-facing admissions world, law, political side of things might be really, really beneficial. If you don't enjoy public speaking, there are a number of fields that will fit you quite well. Then I encourage you to think about creating a roadmap. What exactly do you want to get, and when do you want to get it? Are you looking for a certificate, an associate's, a bachelor's, a graduate degree, a professional degree, or maybe even a joint degree? Those are all exploratory areas that you'll want to seek more information on. And then finally, talk to your advisors, your counselors, or perhaps even professionals in the field. If you've always wanted to be a dentist, talk to your dentist about how they got to where they are, and perhaps see if they can do either virtual or real job shadowing right now. Thank you very much, and I'm going to pass it along to Sarah to answer, how can I find a college if not for a degree?
Thank you, Emily. One of the #1 questions that all of us get at a college fair, at a high school visit, when we're working with high school students or transfer students are things like, how is your program in XYZ? How is your psychology program? How is your law program? How is your engineering program? But I find that a lot of the questions that I get from students is just kind of this forced feeling that they have to have their mind made up, and it should be in a program that makes a lot of money, like engineering or cybersecurity, for example. And that's not always the case. I instead prefer when students ask me about my university, that's going to help them determine if WSU is a good fit for them. Academics is one place to start. Yes, you want to make sure that if you have a major in mind, that you pick a university that has that major, that has that degree. But even if that university that has your degree and they have the #1 ranked program in the entire nation, you still want to make sure that you're happy there outside of the classroom. So instead, I'd like to give you 5 areas that you can start finding the perfect college fit with you, for you, that have nothing to do with academics whatsoever, for the most part. The first area that I tell students to look into is size. And when I say size, I mean size of the university. There are 3 different areas or categories of universities. You might have a small university, a mid-sized university, or a large university. WSU, for example, we have 21,000 total students. We're considered a large university. Many students know right off of the bat they're not going to do well at a large university. Perhaps you're looking for something where it's small, more intimate. You know every single student on campus. Every professor knows your name. There are ways that you can sure make a large campus feel small, but if you're looking for a small university, start narrowing down your options by your search is small colleges and small universities. So size, that's one area that you can start determining of what's going to be a good fit for you. And I know it's a little bit difficult during the times of coronavirus and COVID, but setting foot on a handful or just a couple of college campuses and walk from one side of campus to the other to see what a small campus feels like or a large campus feels like. Location, that's my second category that I give to you. And location, again, I have 3 areas that we can split this up: rural, urban, suburban. So thinking about what type of environment do you want your college to be settled into? Is it going to be in New York City on the Upper East Side, in the middle of the hustle and bustle of a metropolitan, enormous worldwide city? Start narrowing down your options that way. Is it a small rural college town with not a lot of people and a small college setting? Again, start thinking about where you're going to be most comfortable. And a lot of times just the general environment that you live in, that you walk around off of the campus, is going to play an important role of whether or not you're happy there. My third piece is social fit. What do you like to do outside of the classroom? Do you like to ski, snowboard? Well, maybe you want to pick out a college or university that's somewhat near the mountains. Maybe you want to cross off those Southern California or Southern Arizona schools if skiing is the #1 thing that you like to do outside of studying. If you're wanting to go surfing, if you enjoy the opera, if you want to be a fan of Division I sports, start thinking about what you do in your extracurricular life, what makes you happy, what's a good social fit for you. Again, all of these pieces can be combined into one too, right? You can look for a large university in a metropolitan setting that's located on the coast with an active social scene where there are professional sports and symphonies and operas. When you start layering these all together, you start to find the unique fit that is you as a student. My fourth piece is financial fit. Of course, this tends to be on the top of a lot of folks' list, but financial fit is crucial. Are you looking for a WUI or Western Undergraduate Exchange tuition reciprocity program school? Are there universities that offer Alaska-specific scholarship to you? What does the financial aid package look for? I do know, and I do tell students, just because you see the cost of attendance at an institute and it might look astronomical, it might seem outrageous and high, you don't necessarily know what the financial aid package will look like at that point. So even if the price tag is a bit steep, it can be worthwhile to apply, wait for the financial aid package, and it might be that it's going to be less expensive than you actually thought there. So financial fit, making sure that it's a good fit for you as an investment. And then of course, the admissible fit. Make sure that as a student, you're looking at colleges and universities where you're going to get admitted, where you know that you meet the criteria, you've taken the proper prerequisite courses. You don't want to have those only schools on your list that you know you're going to get denied to. So altogether, these 5 areas, size, location, social fit, financial, being admissible, is a great place to start when you don't necessarily know what you want to major in. All of those universities, the ones that fit you outside of academia, are going to have a number of academic programs for you to choose from. And hopefully going into question 3, we can maybe start talking about resources and other areas that you can start studying and how to pick out your degree. So I think heading over to Susie next for question 3.
Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about, okay, so what if you're still undecided, or you have more than one passion, or you can see yourself in more than one profession? Perhaps you might choose a double major. So what double majors are at universities is when you first apply, you could come in undecided. It really depends on the university, or you can choose one main major. Typically, when you are debating between a few different majors, what you'll do is you'll sit down with your academic advisor once you've begun your journey at your university. It's not where you would choose 2 different majors when you're first applying. It's going to be something typically after your freshman year into your sophomore year when you'll decide to do that. So some things to consider if you are double majoring. Perhaps you're going to do a complementary major. So for example, you're going to do a biology major because you're planning on perhaps going into health sciences or pre-med, and then you'll also choose perhaps psychology to go with it. Or you're a business major and you're going to choose computer science as well. So when you're looking at the different majors, some things to consider is with your general education classes, you can double dip. So for example, at most universities, they're going to have some required classes that all students are going to take regardless of your major. history, English, some of the math, and that one class would count toward both of your double majors. But you do need to think about timing. You need to have great communication with your academic advisor and making sure that the classes that you're taking aren't going to add too much time to your degrees. So for example, if you do a double major in two totally different areas, perhaps a Bachelor of Science in chemistry, and then you also want to do a Bachelor of Arts in historical fiction, for example. Well, both of those are going to be in two different colleges with possibly another year or more adding on with all those science classes. So really take a close look at the two degrees that you'd like to do, work with your advisor, work with your faculty advisor. The other thing to keep in mind is some majors have a lot of unrestricted electives. So that's the case with your primary major, then you can find it to be very easy to add a double major. So some students aren't going to want to commit to two whole different majors, and they might decide to do a minor. Now, a minor is a great way for you to add something that you're passionate about or learn something new, and bringing that minor, which typically, depending on the school and depending on the minor, is anywhere from 4 to 5, maybe up to 10 different classes that would create your minor. Some examples, we have a business degree that has a minor, so you could do a business minor with any major that you wanted, and part of it includes an internship. We have a Japanese minor, and that also requires studying abroad over in Japan. So definitely, if you're thinking of a minor, keep in mind to work with your academic advisor as well to make sure that that fits. So oftentimes we get questions about majors like, for example, oh, I want pre-med or I want pre-law. I don't see that on your list of majors. Those technically are programs. So a better question to ask if you're a student wanting to go into that is, what can you as a university do to support a student who wants to go on to med school? Instead of asking, oh, do you have pre-med? Med schools, they need the prerequisite science courses that students will take, but technically you could be an English major and go to med school, or other humanities major. So just keep that in mind when you're exploring your options, double majors, minors, and taking into consideration that there could be a career path that you want, but if you don't necessarily see that listed as a major, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't still follow that pathway. Okay, so I'm not sure who's next, but let's go to question 4.
Thanks, Susie. Yeah, question 4, that is myself, I'll take that. That's, are there resources to help me choose a major? And then we can drill that down a little further, what resources are available to help a student discover their major, their interests, and so forth. What happens if I decide on a major that requires an application? We can talk about that a little bit as well. So to begin, the way I like to address this question is, no matter if you're a freshman right now in high school, a sophomore, even a middle school, wherever, junior, senior in high school, no matter where you're at on your college search right now, you can use a number of resources out there to kind of help narrow down what you might be interested in pursuing in college. Now, I know what the question probably is implying a little bit closer as you're getting to applying and enrolling in certain schools, but really, that's why I kind of wanted to start there, is because it's important that you broaden your horizons and think outside the box a little bit, even before you get to college. And that's because you have a lot of resources right in front of you. One being your family, close-knit family, but also folks that they know. You have an interest in, medicine whenever you go to the doctor, or veterinary medicine, maybe when you go and take your pet to the vet, right? So forth and so on, you get the picture. But to drill it down as we get closer to college, there are a number of different resources at colleges and universities to help you choose that major. And as I mentioned kind of in our intro, it's not a do or die situation. There's oftentimes, and you're not alone, many students enter college undecided. And a lot of colleges understand that, and so they have paths for you to take and options and opportunities for you to explore, especially in that first year. We like to call it the first year experience. So there are courses, college success courses built into your first year, maybe 1 or 2 credit courses to kind of help you navigate kind of what college is really all about. First folks on your kind of docket as you're starting to explore that major and to help you choose a major would be through academic advising and or through your advisor, your first year advisor. And again, this is going to be dependent on which school you are looking at, but these are good questions to ask when you go to a college fair, when you go to a college visit, or if you're doing the virtual visits. And kudos to those of you who are able to handle all the videos that we're doing out there. But even at those times, great questions to ask. What kind of opportunities are there to help me choose a major? And many folks will talk about that at first year advisor. And that advisor is somebody that you connect with and start sharing those interests that you have, some pathways that you might be thinking you're not sure of, to help explore, and they'll help you kind of flesh that out. Now, again, that's going to be dependent on the size of the university you choose or are looking at, and what kind of other avenues they have from that point on. Other resources, and that advisor may change as you start to narrow down your decisions. But other options or opportunities that many colleges have too would be like what you have in your high school would be a guidance office, a counseling office of sorts, through academic advising in the college setting, or experience and professional development would be another office name. There are other ones in these, my colleagues here can chime in, at some point when questions are asked, to share a little bit more personally about what their universities have too. But in those offices, there are a lot of assessments you can take, personality assessments, career assessments, interest assessments, to help kind of navigate and to find out what options you have at that particular school. Many schools, numerous programs they have, and I think that's again where I say we don't want to narrow it down too soon if you're not exactly sure, and keep your options open, keep those horizons open, and start talking with people. Another great outlet and a resource would be alums of that particular university. And many universities, you can talk with any admission counselor and they can help put you in touch maybe with some alums who have some experience in certain areas that you might be interested in, and you can connect with them. And that's what they're there for. They want to help folks find that fit, what works best for them, for you. And I think this might lead into our next question that Anna will take on. But even some universities and schools have the options where you can sort of create a major, so to speak, within realm, of course, within reason, of course, but there's a lot of options out there these days. And many times you are going to be entering into a college and you're going to be traveling down pathways for jobs that haven't even been created yet. So that's why I say keep your options open and be adventurous and explore, and can take it from there. So I will then pass it on to Anna to take on question number 5.
Thanks, Ethan. Yeah, so this has just been such wonderful information. I hope everyone is feeling very seen and heard, and maybe a little more settled if you started this session not thinking that you knew exactly what you were planning on doing your first year in school. So creating your own major is a thing, in answer to the very first question, and it can vary institution to institution. So at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, we have an interdisciplinary major that exists at the undergraduate level. But what I have found often is that many schools are very flexible. They want their students to succeed. They want their students to be empowered in their academic study. So I would really encourage you all to, as the other presenters have mentioned, to really not limit yourselves in any way as you begin this process, and to not put up any roadblocks for yourself just because you might not know exactly what you want to do. If you know in your heart right now and you say, well, I know I don't want to do any of these pre-built degrees, I want to build my own thing, you can do that at many institutions. And I put these questions on here to just sort of get the conversation started in case anyone has any questions about this slide. Does that make me look less competitive on a resume? No, it doesn't. I think that sometimes people might want to go into a bit of a rabbit hole of a degree, and that's, as Ethan was talking about, advising. That's where an advisor can really work with you and make sure that you are getting a degree that you are passionate about, that reflects who you are as an individual, but also isn't so incredibly specific that you might not actually be able to use it in the way you are hoping to leverage it. And really, advisors, alumni, current students, mentors, those are all individuals who can help you make sure that whatever you are building towards is accurately reflective of what you're hoping to accomplish post-graduation. The last question, does that mean I'll take longer to graduate? Sometimes it can. Some degrees that you build will take longer than a traditional straight Bachelor's of Science or Bachelor of Arts degree that's already decided how many credits it is. So that's something to know for sure. As someone who, I mean, we've talked about the undecided path. As someone who took 6 years to get my undergraduate degree, I can tell you there's no shame in taking longer than 4 years to graduate from college. There's no shame in that. There's a little, I think, frustration maybe when you start to get on a little bit in the journey, but I think getting a degree that you're passionate about and that you're centered in is the most important thing, to know that you got that time to really center in on what you wanted to study. I do want to make sure that we have time to go through all the schools, and I'm, by my count, 1 minute over. So I'm going to kick it over to Sarah to introduce her school.
Thanks, Anna. Yes, so now we've got a little bit of time remaining where each of us will provide just a quick tidbit of our own universities, a snapshot, if you will. I work at Washington State University. It's a university that's located in Eastern Washington. It's a small college town, roughly 4.5 hours east of the Seattle area, an hour and a half south of Spokane. For the most part, Pullman is nestled in what some might say the middle of nowhere, but it really is. It's a beautiful area. The town of Pullman has just over or almost 35,000 total residents, and about 21,000 of those residents are college students. Really, for the most part, the average age of a typical Pullman resident is 22 years old. There's not really a clear distinction between where Pullman ends and the campus begins. Even when you're in downtown, you'll see WSU flags flying from telephone poles, the WSU logo painted into the main intersections. It's really a town that wraps its arms around the campus population. We do have more than 200 academic programs for students to choose from. For our deciding or undecided students, we have a majors and exploratory academic program, MEEPS for short. And it's flexible. It allows students to try on multiple different degree areas. The advisors work to try to keep as many doors open as possible. I was a student at WSU that changed my mind 5 times, I think, at last count. Luckily, my advisors were fantastic. I graduated in 4 years, but I wish that someone would have told me, you don't have to have your mind made up. And that's really true at WSU. There's a lot of flexibility, especially within the first 2 years, for you to try on multiple majors. Greek life, Pac-12 sports, the traditional college experience is really those reasons that students are coming to WSU. We are a WUI school. Students with an unweighted 3.6 GPA or higher are granted the $11,000 tuition discount. If you're not quite at the 3.6, we do have another automatic award, the Cougar Award, which is $7,000 to students with a 3.2 to a 3.59. Let's see, and now I think I actually hand it back over to Anna with the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
Back. So Sarah gets to read my mind as I go through these slides. So yeah, we're the University of Alaska Fairbanks. We're located in Fairbanks, Alaska. Sarah, if you could click to the next, thank you. So we are known throughout the world as a leader in climate change research and Arctic research. We receive over $100 million in research funding annually. We are a smaller to mid-sized campus. We only have 5,000 students on our main campus. And so that's a lot of research funding that comes in for a fairly small group of people. We're Alaska's only land, sea, and space grant university. And we pride ourselves on the hands-on research, hands-on learning experiences that we provide in the Research Laboratory of Alaska. So we have students, they're in Bethel, they're in Barrow, they're in Kotzebue. They are out there, they are actually working with the people who live there and learning from them and learning how our world is changing. So if I could have, thank you. We also provide really good financial aid for our students. There's a lot of incentives to stay in the state of Alaska for our in-state students. There's the Alaska Performance Scholarship, there's the UA Scholars Award, and then in addition to that, UAF has one scholarship application to be considered for over 400 individual scholarships, and we also offer a 4-year renewable scholarship called the NANA Pledge. Sarah, if you could skip to the, thanks. And so that's the University of Alaska Fairbanks. We've met many of you, of our Alaskan students, and we hope to meet many more. Kick over to the next school.
Hi everyone, Emily back again from University of Montana in Missoula, Montana. The University of Montana has an exploratory studies program, so I did want to mention that, and that is a way that you can come in as an undeclared student, and we have 7 major tracks that will empower you to have professional advising right into that major. Like I said, the University of Montana is located in Missoula, Montana. It is the 2nd largest city in the state of Montana with 75,000 students, known for our spectacular outdoors. The University of Montana itself has a mid-size reputation, which means that we have about 10,000 undergraduate students. Sarah, if you want to move to the next one. 10,000 undergraduate students with 7,000, yep, say that again. 10,000 total student population, 7,000 undergraduates. Lots of ways for you to get involved, including that we are a founding member of the National Student Exchange, which empowers you to go to another school in the United States or our territories, paying the same cost or in-state cost at those schools. The next screen, please. University of Montana tries to make itself very affordable, and like I said, we have an embedded 2-year institution entitled Missoula College. You'll see that listed at the bottom. Then the University of Montana WUI costs, which is a competitive merit-based scholarship based on your application for admission. And then if you don't qualify for the WUI scholarship, but you receive other scholarships, you'll see the University of Montana out-of-state costs. Similar to UAF, we have a single scholarship portal that empowers students to seek out foundation, departmental, and our Native American student scholarship programs. And then finally, the University of Montana has some notable points. 70% of our classes have 30 students or less, and 89% of them have 50 students or less. We have a GRIS-X pharmacy assurance program. So if you are a student looking to go into pharmacy, you can guarantee that path through your high school admissions. We have a minor in mountain studies, a joint degree in geoscience and international field geography or geology, and then the #1 wildlife biology program in the nation. I think there might be one more screen. Nope, yay!
Okay, so hopefully my internet is better. I guess I was glitchy the last time. Aloha, Hawaii Pacific University. We are a private university right in the urban core of downtown Honolulu, Hawaii on the island of Oahu. We're a mid-sized university, about 5,000 total students, 4,000 undergraduate, thanks. And keep in mind, classes are usually about 17 to 20 students is all you'd have in every class. We have a 12-to-1 student-faculty ratio. And the picture you see right there is our main urban downtown campus right there on Honolulu Harbor. That's our Aloha Tower marketplace with the Aloha Tower itself, one of the iconic, most photographed buildings in Hawaii. And the city itself, a very international vibe. We have multinational corporations right downtown. It is the state capital. So you have all the resources of a large urban city, very walkable campus. Yet 20 minutes out of class, there you are on Ala Moana Beach Park on your stand-up paddle boards with your roommates. If you want good weather year-round, then we can deliver that for sure. All right, next slide. Our undergraduate programs, we have over 45 different ones. Some popular majors with us are within our College of Business, our marine biology, oceanography, and environmental science. Very much hands-on, starting your freshman year. We have our own research vessel. It's docked about 20 minutes from campus, so those marine science students get the water time starting your freshman year. A couple of new majors that we added: arts and markets combines your passion in music, theater, or visual studio art with some business classes. So you learn, from both sides of your brain, your artistic side as well as the practical side on how to make money with what you're passionate about. Engineering, we have a brand new computer engineering as well as biomedical, biotechnology, electrical, and engineering sustainability. So those are our majors that we have. And then for financial aid, now again, we are a private university, so our tuition for all students is $28,800. Now, keep in mind that academic scholarships are automatic. So when you get accepted, we figure out your scholarship. Range is anywhere from $5,000 up to $20,000 off tuition, and it's renewable every year. You just have to maintain satisfactory academic progress. We also have scholarships for our talented students. So if you sing and you're in choir, jazz band, debate team, newspaper, esports, you're one of our athletes. We have scholarships as well for cheer and dance. We do recommend all students, and really no matter what college you go to, is fill out that FAFSA. So if you're a senior this year, now's the time to get that done. And then one more slide, I believe, or two more. Oh, just one more. Okay, I got to end with, here you are, college student in Honolulu, enjoying all the sights and sound and the culture and the adventures that you have out of class. Now, keep in mind at Hawaii Pacific, 40% of our students are from Hawaii, but all the other students are from either mainland or international. So you're going to be with fellow students, also from out of state, also maybe not knowing anyone, creating your own new ohana or your family. And our adventuresome students, students that love the outdoors, students that are up for an adventure and a new culture are absolutely welcome and thrive with us at Hawaii Pacific.
All right, and I will wrap up the school presentations with two-in-one presentation. So I represent the College of St. Benedict in St. John's University. You can click that, Sarah. We are located in central Minnesota, a little ways away from Alaska. And I know because I was jealous watching everybody else's slides and showing all these mountains, right? And being from Alaska, I miss that. So, but if I could show you outside right now, fall in Minnesota is absolutely stunning. However, that's okay, you can click it, Sarah. However, it's 9:30 in the evening here, so I can't do that. But I'll do the best I can with what I got in front of me. So the two colleges together means we are two independent colleges. One, College of St. Benedict, located in St. Joseph, Minnesota, which is a small college town, everything within walking distance of campus. And then 6 miles down the road is St. John's University, located on nearly 3,000 acres of a natural landscape arboretum. We have 7 lakes, over 20 miles of hiking trails, an outdoor university as part of our university as well. And together they make a one community. The only difference between the two, well, rather, there's a lot of differences, but you get access to both campuses and both resources. However, individually they are separate by residence. So females reside over at St. Ben's and males reside over at St. John's. And it's a very much a co-ed experience, and you'll see that throughout pictures and as well videos on our website if you take a moment to gander there. And we have a great virtual tour as well. Go ahead, Sarah. We are about 3,600 students between the two campuses. Average class size is about 19. You have about 11-to-1 student-professor ratio, so you're really going to get to know your professors and they'll get to know you as well. Built into that overall excellent education is a great mentorship, as I was talking about earlier with the advising piece. You really are going to get some one-on-one to help navigate through that process of deciding which major you want to do. All classes are taught 100% by professors, so not by graduate students or TAs, And all students participate in 100% experiential learning outside of the classroom as well. So whether that be study abroad, internships, research opportunities, those aren't have to be wait until your senior year. Those you can jump in on early on and get a lot of access to applying your learning to the real world experiences. Next. So we are a 4-year residential environment, which means you have access and will have opportunity housing on campuses all 4 years, which is great because research and studies have shown that students who reside on campus and stay in that cohort are able to achieve greater levels of success in their academics as well as other accolades throughout their college experiences. So we have over 100 clubs and organizations, a joint events council between the two schools going ahead and putting on over 250 different events throughout the year. We are a Division III athletic school. So we have 23 varsity sports, also club and intramurals. So you name it, we probably have it, and you have access to a lot of levels of that spectrum of athletics that you want to continue to participate in college as well. And next, this last slide. When it comes down to colleges, you want to look at results as well. So, and being a small private college, there are sticker prices, as every college and university has. You can see over on the right there of your screen, though, our academic scholarships are quite a good range there, anywhere from $15,000 to $32,000. So that comes off of that sticker price right away. We were ranked top 2 ranked colleges in Minnesota for job placement last year by Zippia as well. So if you're looking for the best of both worlds, 2 colleges together, it's a great partnership in the middle of Minnesota. And I think that wraps up our presentation. And I noticed that we did have, so yeah, if you want to jump on board there. I know we had another question come in on the Q&A, but it looks like it may have been answered.
We do have a question.
Awesome. Good. What's that?
We do have a question. Do any of your schools have film majors?
Who wants to take that?
The University of Alaska Fairbanks has the only film major in the state. I don't know about the other schools. Everyone else could maybe say if they do or not.
Our student, we have a film studies degree, but it really is more of the study of film and less about making movies. For our students that want to go into writing, directing, producing, they really fall under the College of Communication, more on the broadcast, the production side. The Murrow College of Communication covers a really similar curriculum to that of what a film or the film industry would cover.
Yeah, so at Hawaii Pacific, we have a multimedia video production. So our specialty really is short films and documentaries. Some students also participate when there's big productions on island, and like TV shows like Hawaii Five-0, etc. But yeah, I think, you're going to find quite a few universities that'll offer something in that genre.
University of Montana has a BFA in digital filmmaking as well as a Bachelor's of Arts in Film Studies like Sarah.
And the College of St. Benedict St. John's University has, this would fall probably in that creating your own major. So we've actually just had a student from Washington last year enter in for that purpose. He was looking at film studies, combining that with communications as well. And we have a great documentary team on campus, student-led and organized as well. So it's one of those exploratory and kind of create your own paths.
And we might be able to do a really quick rapid fire. If everyone can just keep it less than 10 seconds. Do you recognize IB diplomas, and do you have a school hockey team that's not club or intramural? At Washington State University, yes, we recognize IB diplomas and individual courses for college credit. We only have a club hockey team, not NCAA Division I.
At College of St. Benedict St. John's University, we do recognize IB diplomas, absolutely, and we do have a varsity hockey team, male hockey team, as well as female hockey team too.
At UAF, we also recognize international diplomas or IB diplomas, and we also have the only D1 division team in the state.
At the University of Montana, we recognize IB diplomas and we do not have Division I hockey.
And no hockey in Hawaii, although there is one ice rink, so you can skate a little bit. We recognize the scores on your IB exams if you're taking higher level.
And I apologize, I just want to clarify, we're a Division III school, so I didn't know that that was in the question. I apologize.
I should clarify too, we are Division I. UAA currently has a hockey team this year that is also Division I.
Well, I think that wraps up our presentation. Thanks everyone for being here this evening. We appreciate your time to learn more about what it's like to be an undecided student, and hopefully you're walking away feeling confident in your decision to potentially stay a deciding student for a little while longer.
Nice job, Sarah. The timing there, that was good.
Thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a quick survey. There will be only 4 questions. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted tonight, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at strivescan.com/Alaska. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other session recordings at the same website where you registered. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you all. Are you all doing the, I suppose we have to go out and doing the
The college fair.